Nothing's happening. Hey,
Go ahead.
we're live. Hey, everyone. It's Marshall Atkinson and Alan Howe. Welcome to Q&A with Alan and Marshall.
How you doing, man? I'm Alan, Easy Way. So
yeah, we're doing great. And what's interesting here is today Alan is driving the bus.
I have the controls.
He's got finally StreamYard allow us to give Alan controls. So we're going to let him do that today. I'm hands off the wheel. We'll see what happens. So anyway, so thanks for watching. And if you could do us a favor and just comment, please, that you're watching and who you are, where on the planet are you watching from? And then also don't forget that this is a Q&A show. So we really need your participation and engagement to get the show to work. Otherwise, it's just Alan and me babbling about whatever we want to talk about today.
Hear about that.
Yeah.
So we can.
So please say hello and all that stuff. So, also don't forget to share that you're watching the show, because we would like, your friends to jump in and help out also.
Absolutely. And, we've had some great, we had some great conversations before the show came on. We were talking about books. We were talking about John Wayne movies. And
that's right.
A bunch of nonsense.
A bunch of nonsense. It's just, that's par for the course for us.
Football games last week. Yeah. A bunch of nonsense.
So. Right. So anyway, what you been up to these days, Alan?
Oh, well, you know what? Since, as it was said last week, I pulled out of Long Beach. I am setting up a trip next week to Ohio, seeing some customers. I am going to have lunch with our good friend, Joe Sidrovic from Gorilla Joe's. He is going to go out to Long Beach, so you'll see him there.
Mm-hmm, good.
And then setting up a trip. I have to trip to Southern Illinois the week after. So for that I have to fly into St. Louis. There's an install for Ecotex Reclaim, and looking forward to it. Never been into Southern Illinois, to Springfield and Peoria and all around there. So
that's great. That's great.
So right now I'm just getting my, we're back at it. We're hitting hard.
You should cross over the river and go see Tom in Dubuque.
That's a little bit farther north, though.
Oh, okay.
Well, I'm in Southern Illinois. So
great. So we've got some folks watching. Do you know how to show that?
Absolutely. So we got Richard Greaves, our good friend, watching. So Mr. Greaves, I just call him the Richard Greaves all the time.
Yeah.
A good friend.
And don't forget, everyone, Richard and I are doing this show live from the ISS Long Beach show classroom. And of course, Alan's going to be on here too, but from Michigan, but we're going to be live in the classroom. So if you're going to ISS Long Beach, 9:00 California time, be in our class and you can watch the hilarity to see if Marshall can figure out the tech.
Because here's the other part. If you can't figure out and it goes blank for some reason, it's all me, baby.
Yeah, well, it's you doing the show live, but we're going to be in the classroom doing it there, right? So
so I'm good.
Anyway,
so, we also have Pedrick working here,
right? From Ireland, from Cork, Ireland.
Okay, that's one of your clients from Ireland. Where in Ireland? I only know Dublin. Are you from Dublin, Pedrick?
No, he lives in Cork.
In Cork, Ireland. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Kim Johnson from now Glendale, Arizona. She has made the move.
That's right. Yeah. So, I saw some pictures on Facebook. She's renovating a space for her shop. The floors look great, Kim.
That's good. And Marshall, you're not far from Glendale. Right now.
I know. Maybe I have to go visit.
Yeah. I've got Joan Askin. How you doing, guys, from Port Huron, Michigan? Our good buddy, Charles. Charles, I'm enjoying the Black Rifle coffee you sent me, so thank you again.
Yeah, I've already finished mine.
Yeah, I haven't finished mine yet. So, Kisa from Kyle, Texas. How you doing, Kisa?
Right.
Whoops. Kim says she's looking forward to Long Beach.
Good, good.
Yeah, we need everybody to give us a report from it.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Pete from and Val from Port Huron.
Mm-hmm.
Or freezing Port Huron. Hey, Peter, it's not as cold as it was. It's only in the 30s now, but man, what was it? A few days ago, it was -2 or something. It was brutal. So, yeah, it could get worse. Dwayne Kelly, good morning. I love that picture. Look at the family picture. That's awesome.
That's great.
On there. Peter is running Cork on the south coast of Ireland.
That's right.
So will we do a show when we go European? We'll do Ireland and Sweden.
Yeah, why not?
Absolutely.
It's a fictional trip anyway. We can spend fictional money any way we want.
Fictional money. It'd be great. It's a great show. And the reviews were amazing. Fictional reviews. So
that's right.
Yeah, right. Oh, they're the dream. That would be awesome.
Yeah, cool. All right. Well, we got a lot of really great stuff to talk about today. So why don't we roll the our sponsor, if you didn't know, is GSG, and they do such an awesome job. So let's roll their commercial.
Have you seen their videos this past week? They had some great videos. Mark Soldonic did some great ones on screen printing. Liz Beavers did an excellent one on different types of backing. So yeah, check them out. So here's their commercial for a sponsor.
I love it. Look, hands free, y'all. I didn't do any of that.
I have control. I have the power. So
this is great because sometimes, I can't be here, and sometimes Alan can't be here because we travel and do stuff, right? So it was really important for Alan to get the ability to drive the car. So because otherwise it was a real headache. So now we have that ability. So.
Well, the way it worked is when I was by myself, there was a code that only went to Marshall's email, and they had to send it to me. And if there was a problem, he's in the air, and I'm stroking out, and not good. So,
yeah, I've had to get Alan in as I'm boarding a plane before.
Oh, it's awesome. We may look calm, cool, and collected, but we are not right before we go live. So,
right.
We got a few more people. Mr. Simon Clifford from Techmar.
Great.
Hey, Simon, are you going to be at Long Beach? I'm wondering if Techmar was. So that would be interesting. Well, Kelly just changed the video background. Yeah, we're putting a request into. We need to update it to GSG. So
right.
Yes, we do know that. Kim says they're installing cabinets today in the shop. As soon as it's all done, she's going to have you over.
That's great. Thanks, Kim. Happy to come over.
You know what? When I'm in seeing my dealer in Arizona, we both need to go over to do the show from there.
Ooh. Oh, we can do that. What, Kim? Would you allow us to do our show in your shop? That might be fun.
You would have to be on live though, too, Kim.
Yeah. Well, now we've figured it out, right? Exactly. We figured out how to do it live.
Yep.
Maybe.
And then, of course, our good friend from Sweden, Mr. Gosta.
Right.
So awesome. The Chuck Connor. Or Chuck Norris of Sweden, I think. I love that picture. So,
and look, Dan's here today. That's awesome. Dan,
yeah. If you need Seps, man, he's the man on it. And Kim says most definitely. So yeah, I'm gonna have to now schedule my trip to Arizona. It'd be fun.
Great. So we got a couple topics to talk about today. So what's the first one, Alan?
Well, since I get to, let's go with this one. Let's go 2021 autopsy.
Yeah, so this is the one that I wanted to talk about because I've been talking with my coaching clients for the last couple of weeks about how and what happened with last year. And I think before we start all of our goal setting for 2022, we really need to take a hard look about 2021 and what happened that was positive, because we want to keep that. We want to keep the momentum going, right? But also let's look at all the things that we didn't do, we didn't get around to, or maybe we didn't hit our goals and what happened. And let's be really brutally honest about it, right? And I think a lot of times, we get so focused on orders.
Yep.
Right? Or orders got to ship, we got to do it and whatever. We're not thinking down the road on stuff. And we're also not looking in the rearview mirror enough to find out why we aren't doing the things that we need to do. And this is from a goal setting for sales, right? Because sales are the lifeblood of the company. We need sales to exist. So your top line sales, but also your bottom line profit, right? And I speak with so many people, right, who their bookkeeper, their accountant, their CPA is in charge of their finances. And a common thing I've heard is, well, I don't know how I did in 2021 because my accountant hadn't let me know yet, right? Yeah. And I'm like, you're kidding me, right? So we need to get a better dashboard. We need to get a better thumb on what's actually happening in your business. And the top line sales are great, but what's better is your focus on driving more profit. And especially with the crazy price hikes that we're getting and everything. And I see so many people adjusting their prices. It's the most common question on Facebook right now is, I want to adjust my prices. What do you think about these? And everybody chimes in. It's like, why are you asking everybody on Facebook about your prices? They don't know what your costs are. They don't know what your goals are or whatever. That's just such a wrong thing to do. So I think if we know what our costs are, we know how to generate our pricing, because it's based on where we want to be with the money we want to make. That should be your big question.
I think also, Marshall, too, if they are waiting on their accountant, why are they waiting to talk to them now? You should be in constant contact with your accountant months before, because they should know, going, hey, you need to spend some money. If not, you're going to get hit hard. So these conversations need to be had, probably in the end of that third quarter at the latest, I would think.
Yeah. Right. Well, you should know how you do in Q1, Q2, Q3. By Q4, you kind of know where you're going to wind up, right? And then what do you need to do? And then are you like I do a lot of my planning in November and December. So when January rolls around, I'm already on the execution trail, right? And I did that when I was running shops, and I do that now as a consultant. So it's like, you're ahead of the game, and your mindset as a business owner or as a manager or a leader, maybe you don't own the business, should be weeks out, right?
Yep.
Like your focus right now from a planning perspective should be, what are we doing in February and March, right?
Yep,
should be, that's where you should be thinking. We should be talking about, what we're doing for St. Patty's Day sales, right?
Yep.
Or Valentine's Day at least, because that's just around the corner, right?
Well, we're already in the middle of June, so in a couple months, even here in Michigan, you got to start doing spring stuff. March is going to be coming up, and yeah.
But before we do that planning, I think we really need to look at what happened last year.
Yep.
And so if you didn't make the money you wanted to make, if you didn't learn how to do something, or whatever, right? If you really wanted to get into a new decoration technique, DTF, for example, right? You didn't do it last year. Are you going to do it this year? Right? And what is going to take for you to get that going? Not all goals have to be about money. They could be about learning and education and doing things, right? And I think that's really super interesting as to what's going on. So I would really like to know if you are brave enough to share, right?
Yep.
How did you do last year? Put it in the comments, or what was a big victory for you that you're really super proud of? Or maybe what's something that you really didn't get a good handle on last year that you really want to do this year? Put those in the comments, and so we can kind of help you achieve that stuff. That's what the show's about, is to help you guys. So put those comments in there, and let's kind of talk about it. Alan, where are you on your goal setting right now? I know
Well,
we were talking.
my goals, we have to do it an easy way. We set goals for our area, and my sales are always through distribution mostly. So it's one, I have to know my distributors, know where they're doing, what they're doing, and I try to stay in constant contact with them. I hit my goals. I had goals of probably over $300,000, over almost 400,000. So I actually went over my goal. I wanted to go about 10% over. I hit about 8 or 9%, like 8%, and only because with us, as you know, the way the economy's been going, we've had to have a couple price hikes. So I wanted to factor that in. Now, what we do, I've had to go back through the territory, and I don't look compared to last year. 2020 was an anomaly, but we're comparing it now to 2019. And as a company, we did extremely well. Very close to our 2019 numbers. I know corporate knows the profitability. I haven't been told that, and I haven't asked yet. That's kind of out of my wheelhouse. But I do, I do it old school. I go on our computer, I look at all my dealers and where they're at, and I did. I think it was New Year's Eve, and I have the list here. I'm not going to show you exactly who they are. We can see, but I still write them down, what they were at 2019 and 2021. 2021. And now I'm in the process of drilling down of where was their growth, talking to them, and actually the questions, where do they think the growth is? Do they know? What do they think is going to happen? I have to make these plans for them, and just to be more helpful of them selling our products. So,
yeah, and I do the same thing, and I've talked about it before. I got a really big whiteboard right to the left of me, and I erased it, and I've got all new stuff on it, right? And and I'm trying to, it's all about, this is what I want to do. This is when I want to do it. This is the deadlines I want to set. I'll be honest, one of the things that I'm working on right now is I'm writing a new book. I wanted that finished by the end of the year. I didn't hit it, right? And it's because it's proven to be a harder book to write than I thought it was going to be, right? But I'm not releasing it just to release it on the date. I want to make it right? So it's got new goals, right? It's okay, right? I'm adjusting, right? So I think for you guys, just thinking about what you guys want to do, right? What are your goals, and how are you setting them, and how are you sneaking up on them? Like if you're investing in a new technology like direct to film, right? I would write a little mini business plan about direct to film. How are you going to sell it? How are you going to market it? How are you going to make money on it? What is your pricing? What is your costing? What is your education? It's going to take you a minute to learn how to use it, right? So how is that going to work in your business, for example? And that could be anything. It could be embroidery or anything you're bringing in that's new, right? How are you going to do it, right? And for Kim that's watching right now, she's in a brand new shop, right? Set some goals. How are you going to, so once you get everything up and running, you're going to have a big open house. I mean, these are the things that we put down on paper and we execute on it, right? But we have to look to see what happened last year in order to learn and grow. And that's the important thing. And one of my favorite quotes ever is the Nelson Mandela quote. Do you know what that one is, Alan?
I just quoted I don't lose.
I never fail. I either win or learn.
Yeah, that's right? The one I know of them. Is that the one?
That's it. And that's like one of my favorite quotes, right? And so just like you gotta like just get out there, be open to make mistakes and learn from them and go, right? And not get really caught up with some stuff.
Right. We got Peter here listening in. He says he's actually playing hooky from M&R. He's in his apartment. His wife's in town for the weekend. So Mrs. Walsh, thank you for tuning in if she is. So.
That's great. Good to see that, Peter.
Yep. We have our friend Jim from out east.
Great. Great.
Jim. Cindy, of course.
Right. Good.
Dwayne says he hit his BHAG in 2021.
That's great.
And BHAG means, I've heard a couple of things, but
big hairy ass goal.
That or a big hairy audacious goal. So
I like ass better.
Me too. We have a company planning conference set for February. That's great.
Yep.
To get the entire team involved in setting our next BHAG. We're behind the annual goal setting. And 2021 was far more brutal than expected, so we're behind. But at least you know you're behind.
Well, here's something interesting. When unexpected things
hit the share button. So thank you, Peter.
Yeah. When unexpected things happen, you know, right? Are you ready for them? Right? Yep. Your press operator quits, right? We have supply chain disruption. You know, these things happen, right? Somebody embezzles money from you. I don't know. There's all these crazy things that can happen, right? You have a fire or a medical emergency, right? Are we prepared as we need to be, right? Yeah. Right. So that's just something that you might be thinking about preparing for this year, right?
Right.
Hey, Josh Wiley's watching. Hey, Josh, by the way, I've been thinking about you and your family as you go through your challenges that you guys are having. So hang in there, brother. We got you.
Good. Yeah. There. Peter says last year we did much better than anticipated because it was our first year in business. That's great. All profits went back into the business. We want to double profit, make more investments in equipment.
That's great.
And the fact that you know you're profitable and know what percentage of profit you have, that's incredible.
So, Peter, I want you to think about this. Instead of reinvesting profits, right? Why don't you start on purpose a savings account to put stuff toward new equipment, and profit is taken out and given to you as the owner on purpose, right? So don't think about reinvesting profits. Think about taking a distribution and then having your savings account go to new equipment or training or whatever, right? As an on-purpose thing, and just shift your mindset a little bit and just how you allocate your money.
Very nice. Very good. Daryl Garcia says, get on it. And
yeah, man.
And of course,
Daryl's awesome. Hey, Daryl, I hope to see you Friday in Long Beach, by the way. I know you're going to be around. So make sure you come by the booth. Shirt Lab's got a booth, by the way. So
yeah.
Great.
Should we hit our next?
Let's do it, man. You're driving the car.
Hands
free.
Woo! I'm going to go a little bit out of order. I think we should springboard off the 2021 autopsy.
Okay, let's do it.
Some people are there. Let's go to how great teams are built.
Yep.
If you're going to do an autopsy on how your sales were, you need to do an autopsy on how your company is.
Yeah, so this is another topic that I wanted to discuss today. And this really comes from the metaphor of sports. And I think a lot of times sport teams in particular, there's a lot of alignment with your company, like a sports team. So everybody, I think, has a favorite sports team. You know, Peter Walsh, for example, is a rabid Kansas City Chiefs fan. Okay. Yep. And, you know, and I have my sport teams and you have your sport teams, but you can think about, you know, when a championship team is built, right? People aren't champions forever. Okay. They're not champions forever. Even Alabama just lost to the Georgia Bulldogs, right?
Yep, absolutely.
So they're not champions forever, and so our company teams are kind of built the same way, where we gain people and we lose people, and we have the bench strength we need when somebody goes out with COVID, which is happening right now, or that type of stuff. So why don't you think about right now, when you're thinking about preparing for this year, I really want you to think about how your team is built. And your team, by the way, isn't just your employees. It's your network of colleagues. It's your supply chain. It's anybody that's supporting your business is part of your team, because you need these suppliers in order to exist. Right. So the people that you purchase stuff from, your consumables, like Alan, the people that you buy your equipment from, the people that support you, they give you the answers to the test before you ask them. That is really necessary in order for you guys to grow. So think about how you're building this year, your championship team. So December 31st, you win the championship.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so how that's built. So pay really close attention to, anything about how sport teams are built, or how coaches look at building teams. And I tell you what, they all talk about. They all talk about process.
Mm-hmm.
They all talk about consistency. They all talk about cross training. They all talk about doing things right. They all talk about supporting each other. They all talk about, we have to have a we mindset, not an I mindset, all that kind of stuff, right?
Yep.
What do you think about that stuff, Alan? I know you're big into sports and teams like I am.
Yeah, and while you always go to football, I go to baseball. I'm a Detroit Tigers fan. Grew up with them, and I'm more of a baseball guy than a football and everything. I do like NBA basketball, but don't watch it too much anymore. You have to have those great teams. One of the things about building a great team is what I think it shows of what kind of leader you are. And one of the best things I ever heard about leadership was, as a leader, you're always looking to replace yourself. Who are you training to replace yourself?
Yeah.
Who are your weaknesses? Your weaknesses, that's your team. You better get people there. You don't want people being yes men. So you've got to have that. You got to know that. And that's kind of a really heart check. That's tough to do.
A great article, fantastic article to read. If you haven't ever read this, is look this up right now, or write it down and look it up later, called Give Away Your Legos.
Yep.
It's a fantastic article about replacing yourself in your business. And even as a business owner, because I know a lot of you're so entrenched in the business, right? You're actually doing the work. You're printing the shirts and you're burning the screens and you're ordering the goods or whatever. Okay. Yep. You're doing that instead of having employees do that. And I get why people do that. But think about how you can give away your Legos, meaning we get used to playing with our set of bricks, and we've built this gorgeous looking castle or whatever, right? And we don't want to give away our Legos, right? We don't want to give that away because look what we built. Yep. It's all shiny and pretty, okay? And we think that by holding on to these Legos, right, everything is going to be always great. But you know what? If you give away your Legos, you know what you get? What do you get, Alan? You get another set of Legos. Absolutely. That's even better, right?
Exactly.
But you have to give away the Legos that you're currently playing with in order to get the new ones. Yep. And so the Legos that you're giving away, somebody is going to take those Legos. And you know what they're going to do? They're not going to build a castle. They're going to build a fire truck. Yep. And it'll be just as good.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. And it's hard because as a leader, you have to look at your team too.
Yep.
And going, I have a team. Are they a great team? Where are the problems at? Because that's hard.
Right.
Everybody has different personalities, different things on there, different idiosyncrasies, and you've got to set out your plan and get those people that are going to help you achieve those plans and make them feel like they're part of that team. And sometimes the best people for it are not the most aggressive. You find a great printer, but he is, I call it kingdom building. That's his little kingdom. He runs a press. He does that. He doesn't share information with anybody because that's job security to him. Well, that's avoidance. That's an absence of trust, and that's dysfunction, and that carry and be a cancer into your team.
Yeah, you were talking about a book earlier, Alan. Why don't you share the book and why you like it?
So one of my favorite books, and I shouldn't say my favorite, but one I read, and this book is almost 20 years old. It's called 5 Dysfunctions of a Team. And when I read it, the first time I got part of it, but then when I read it the second time, it started really clicking. I am built, working where Marshall's great because Marshall is who's in charge. Marshall will be in charge. He's the visionary. He's the pathfinder. I am a number 2 guy on there. I know my role in a team, and that's it. And that's fine. I can lead stuff. I can train people and all that, but that's not how I'm built. But when you read 5 Dysfunctions of a Team, and I would recommend everybody get this. Marshall just looked on Amazon. There's like 1,000 used books on it there.
For $1.
For $1. But one of the first dysfunctions is absence of trust. Why is there a lack of trust within the team? Is it one person? Is it coming from the top? Who is it on there and why? And then the other thing, because 5 Dysfunctional team, the fear of conflict. And this is the one that I really love because people go, well, yeah, we just want to avoid conflict. We want peace and harmony. Impossible. There's good conflict and then there's toxic conflict. Right. Good conflict is, what do we have to do? No. Marshall and I have this. We have things of what do we want to do? How do we want to do it? And we don't always agree. But what? It's conflict. It's going to the better good of Q&A.
Right. I think you need people to call you out on your own bullshit sometimes, right?
Absolutely.
And because I think that makes you better to see the other side. And I've always laughed at people who think you hear this a lot of times, especially in politics, where they flip-flopped on the idea, right? Yep. It's like, no, they got presented more information and they changed their mind. To me, that's a sign of intellect. It's a sign that, you know what, I can make a decision, and then if I get more data, I get something else, I can make a decision, and then we're moving forward at a better rate because we're doing something different.
Yep.
And it's going to be better because this is, that we've got more information or something, right? And so to me, that's a sign that you're smart, is that you change your mind on things, right? Absolutely. Not that you stick to the same old way that you've always done it.
Absolutely. Peter,
great quote, Peter.
Yep. You can be appointed as a manager, but that doesn't make you a leader. To become a leader, you need to be someone who people choose to follow. And I always say, you say you're a leader, look behind you. Who's following you? And I think the type of people are following you, that says something also.
Right.
Well, that's great. Other dysfunctions, so our lack of commitment, which, sometimes, and the nice thing, you think of there is that there are people that are so committed and you think they're so good and stuff on a team, but what they're committed to is not the team. They're committed to themselves. And that's a Lone Ranger, and that can be toxic. And then avoidance of accountability, which, boy, the older we get, accountability becomes a little bit easier. When we're young, we don't want to have to be accountable to anybody. And that, that's something that I think is growth. And, I think that's when you're young.
Are you accountable to yourself?
Absolutely.
Right. Do you do the things that you say you're going to do?
Yep. And then that's the last one, and attention to results. So great book. That's mine. I need to grab it and just read it again because it is such a great book.
Well, I just ordered it. It's on its way right now.
That'll be in your stack, and you'll have it all read in 8 months,
Yeah.
8 months from now. So,
well, I do have a couple books I need to read, but I'm in the middle of writing a book actually about managing. So that should come out shortly.
yeah,
I'm almost through.
I don't know who else. I don't know if Richard has read that or Peter and been there. Read that, but I know for a while in the 90s, it was all the rage. The late 90s, that was all the rage.
Mm-hmm.
Five dysfunctions.
Right.
So
Right.
it was a great one. So our friend Frank joined us.
Hey,
so
Frank.
better late than never. Glad you're here, Frank.
All right. Thanks for being here, Frank.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, great. So please, if you're here, share your top tips for being on a team. What do you consider? I like humor. Should be something that's often discounted, right? Hey, Nate's here. 5 Dysfunctions was a game changer for us. Marshall, you'll love it. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate that.
Peter says some of the best books I've written on leadership were written by John Maxwell. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And what a great books, John Maxwell on leadership. I agree. So, yeah.
Great.
Richard says yes, he has read it.
Of course, I'm sure it's in the Library of Alexandria that he has in his house.
In his house, it is there. He has it on PDF, I'm sure.
He has 4 versions.
It's 4 versions of that. It's right behind 2 Second Lead.
Yeah.
Royalties.
It's right here. Let me get up out of my chair and I'll go find it.
Next to Mark Coudray, Richard Reeves reads more than anybody of anything. Right. So that's awesome.
We're teasing Richard. We love you.
He knows we love you. I'm there.
That's great.
Let's see.
Yeah, good.
Willie Mitchell said my wife is a John Maxwell follower too. Not a bad person to follow.
Yeah, great.
Awesome.
So let's switch topics, Alan. What do you think?
Sure. Let's do this. Let's go. Let's do this one. This is mine.
Yep.
Fundamentals matter. And actually, Marshall came up with the title. He just asked me what I've been going through, and I swear every day for me is going through fundamentals with people. I gotta put this. I have been to his office. There's a lot there. So, anyways, every day I talk to people, whether it's on screen printing, but a lot of reclaiming, and a lot of on reclaiming and chemicals is screen prep and screen room. And, the example is there's a gentleman who's at a shop. He gets a hold of me. I've never met him before. He knows me and stuff. And he tells me, he starts name dropping, who he follows, he just goes, I'm a disciple of this person and this person. Awesome. I think this guy probably has some stuff. Says, yes, he knows how to use an exposure calculator and a 21-step scale. No, he doesn't. And I'm like, how can you listen to these people and say you're a follower of listening to them and not know how to use a basic tool? These are fundamentals. If you are in screen printing and you do not have a 21-step grayscale or an exposure calculator in your plant right now, just shut the doors. That and attention to it. Just shut the doors. Get one, learn to use it, and do it.
I think the person had one. They just didn't put the action behind it.
He didn't know it was even there. Yeah, I told him.
Okay.
I was in that shop before, and I said, I left one there, and he found it. But yeah, but you have to not just have these tools. And we're talking a 21-step grayscale is I bought them for $9 just not too long ago. It's a Stouffer grace 21-step grayscale. Get one. And they're just they're incredible. And the thing is these fundamentals matter. You can't guess on exposure time. You can't ask on a message board going, I'm having trouble with my emulsion. What's the problem? Well, the answers you'll get is, well, I use this brand. I use this brand. Are you doing that? And all that. And it's like, What is your exposure time? I don't know. I'm doing
Well,
this.
and the problem with searching for Facebook is there's no qualifying questions.
There isn't. And yeah, and if you don't have the tools, you're guessing. And there is no guessing in screen printing.
There's no crying in baseball.
There is no crying in baseball, and there's no guessing on there. There are tools. And so all this, the guy shows me and showing me pictures on it. He goes, there, I think we're exposed. No, you're not. And I'm explaining to him how to read it and show him. And he finally gets, he goes, wow. He goes, but then here's his answer. If I jump my exposure time up that much, I won't get the screen production out that you're getting. And I said, that's irrelevant at this point. Your problem is you're underexposed. So you're putting harder on the screen so it lasts on your hybrid press. Yes, he has a hybrid, an M&R hybrid. So you're putting harder on the screen so it lasts on your hybrid press. And now when it's done, you're putting it in the auto reclaim and you're wondering why you're going through so much chemical and it won't come through. And you're blaming the chemical. Don't blame the chemical.
Yeah, this industry is physics, right? There's a cause and effect to everything that we do.
It is. And so fundamentals matter. Don't think, people, that yeah, Mark Sultanic goes this one, has this one. Mixing Pantone colors by eye. Can you do it? Sure. Should you do it? No.
Yeah. How come I have 3 gallons of ink? I only need a quart. You keep trying to hit that color.
Yeah. And it's all about controlling variables. You know, when you're in, I listened to, I think I said earlier, I listened to a video, a GSG video that Liz Beavers did on embroidery. And you all know, I don't know anything about embroidery, but I'm trying to learn. And she is going through fabrics or backers on how they should use and should they be used and when. Incredible. These are variables. I know people that I just use the one backer for everything. And I'm now thinking, going, why would you do that? Fundamentals matter.
Well,
you know
like
what? They're profitable. All about
I only use one mesh count.
110. Yeah, good. To quote our friend Jeff Proctor, 110, the Model A of mesh counts, is what he called it. The Model A of mesh counts. So yeah.
Yeah.
Daryl
it comes in any color as long as it's black.
Lots of variables, coding technique, mesh, CT, light sources. Absolutely. And you have to know them all. There's no guessing. There's ways to do that. And if I sound passionate, this is where I live. And it is sometimes mind-blowing that shops can be as big as they are. As I said, they have a hybrid. Those things do not cost a couple $100. These are major capital investments. And come on, people.
Yeah.
Static reclaim. And wow.
Yeah. And so it's funny is that printers are always quick to blame the ink. They're always quick to blame the equipment, right? But nobody ever points inwards and looks at their processes.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what that is? That's part of 5 functions of a team. You know, the avoidance of accountability. Nobody wants to take accountability of it, you know, and that's what's going to happen on it. Right there. Dan Campbell says, since John Maxwell was mentioned, Dr. Linda Trevlute is a close friend of mine, works with and under John Maxwell. My wife is a student member and has learned tons. Dr. Linda does business training and consulting, and there's the
Alphabet Soup link.
Yeah, absolutely. So
thanks, Dan. And I like your Jack Lambert profile pic too.
Absolutely. So on fundamentals, you know, we are talking in screen printing of 5 basic fundamentals, you know, of your tension, of your coding technique, of your exposure and development, your squeegee and flood bar, and your proper curing. Those are 5 fundamentals, and that's not hard to get control of them. In embroidery, I don't know how many fundamentals there are. I don't know how many are in directive film or sublimation, but there are. You can't use the same heat temperature for everything. I know that you can't.
In pressure, and there's a lot of factors.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
So fundamentals matter. So as you're doing an autopsy of 2021, you got to look at your processes. Processes. What are the basic fundamentals? And so this guy I was talking to, he was saying, but I know I'm exposed, right? It can't be that long. And I go, trust your tools. Doesn't matter what Marshall says. When you have tools, it doesn't matter what Marshall says, doesn't matter what Alan says, doesn't matter what Mark Soldonic says or Richard Greaves or anybody else or anybody on Facebook. What do the tools say? Trust
Right.
tools. Richard Greaves told me he was in a conversation with Jeff McHugh, who's retired but just a great guy, and he said the difference between advanced screen maker and regular screen maker, tools. And that's exactly it.
And using them.
Yeah, having a tension meter in your shop with dust on it does not count. These do not work by the force or osmosis.
Right.
So that's my thing on fundamentals. I'd love to hear from everybody else. What are the little fundamental that you guys have done in your shop or haven't done or need to do? What's everybody think about that? Marshall, you're in a lot of shops. What do you think?
Or what's the fundamental that you think is really important that we haven't talked about? And for me, one of the things that I would say is just cleanliness and organization.
Absolutely.
Right. So if your shop is a pigsty, I guarantee you're not getting product out like you need to.
How about
you might think we don't have time to clean. All right. But
Yeah.
you're wasting tons of time because the ink bucket's got crap all over it. And now somebody's got to wash their hands before they can work. Okay. So you've got downtime that you just don't know what it is.
Absolutely.
Right.
How about this this is a Marshall Atkinson's fundamental, and it's so basic, and that's it. Shops without a business plan.
Oh my God. Don't get me started.
Go. I knew that would do it. You got mine. Go.
Don't get me started.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're running as fast as we can, but we don't know where we're going.
Absolutely.
Right. We're headed really quickly that way. It's like, okay, what's over there? We don't know.
Yeah. And I know, guys, we sit on here online, and I know guys like Marshall and myself, Mark Soldonic, Richard Greaves. Sometimes there's days of going, why are you banging your head against the wall? Because it feels so good when I stop. And that's about it sometimes. So
yeah, I love that. I love that quote. That's
great. Oh, it is, but it's so true. So
right. And so what other fundamentals? I think, clean organization. I think really paying attention to detail. Yeah. I think also having a mindset of continuous improvement or learning, and I think is another fundamental. If you want to be successful in this industry, you have to have that, and you have to keep failing. And so it's like I know we always keep count of our wins. I think maybe this year we should keep count of our failures.
Yeah, exactly. Keep count of the failures, and what did you learn from that failure?
Yeah.
John out of Richmond, Indiana, from Black Dog. Every job and I only say that because I've been in a shop. So every job I've ever had, I've always hated the idiot signs that explain the job in the simplest terms possible, hung up on the walls. And listen to what he says. He goes, I always hated that until I had a shop and had high school interns messing up really easy things. I would explain 100 times and put up my own signs. So absolutely.
Yeah. Right. It's the pull sign. It's pull or push on the door.
Yeah. Yeah. And we've all done it. Big sign there. Don't see it. Bam. It won't open. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So
it's like you remember the movie Tommy Boy?
Oh yeah.
At the beginning, Chris Farley's like trying to get in to take the exam, right?
Yeah.
And he can't because he can't figure out how to open the door.
And it just goes, and someone comes in and just opens it. So yeah.
Right.
So I think fundamentals, it's the basic stuff. You have to take a good look at yourself And I think, Marshall, you said it there. It's the mindset, the heartfelt mindset of continuous improvement. And sometimes we just don't there. In that realm, it's status quo. And that's usually, it's a bad place to go.
Yeah, right.
So
cool. Hey, we got one more topic today.
One more topic. And so here's the good one. We said there's no crying in baseball and there's no guessing, but you know what? 2022, this is the year right now. There are no excuses.
No excuses. See if you can eliminate excuses as to what's going on. Why aren't you achieving what you want to achieve or do whatever, right? So I've written about this before, and I sometimes I talk about it, which is, it's not why you can't do something, but what do you need to say I can do it? What do you need, right? Do you need training, or do you need some equipment, or do you need more sales, or what do you need, right?
Yep.
That's what you should go after. So eliminate that excuse, right? And I think you'll be much better for it.
Agreed. There's a lot of excuses. We said, at the end of 20 into 21, and we've done good. We don't say that word. We say adjust, and we've all adjusted. But you know what? We have a whole new.
You mean the word pivot?
I don't even acknowledge it. I will not acknowledge it. That one, yes. But you know what? There are a lot of things going on. We know of supply chain issues. We know of labor. We know of inflation. We know of that. What are you doing to get around that? Welcome to life.
Yeah.
Let's go. Do I like it? No. What are you doing right now? So with your suppliers, well, I order from SNS. Okay, great. Do you know Frank puts out what they have in stock on Shirt Lab Tribe? Well, there's a reason to be a member. I mean, that's incredible.
Right.
Alpha Broda doesn't have this. Who's your other options? Come on.
Right.
What are you doing? My customer's mad. They only use this shirt. Well, if it's not available, they have a problem. Have you explained that to them? Have you talked to them? Have you come with solutions? I use XYZ brand. Have you looked at X brand? This is kind of cool. Maybe you just know one because that's all they've looked at. You have to have solutions. Have you looked at your suppliers? Have you talked to your other suppliers? Nobody's making white ink. Not true. Is it sometimes more difficult? Yes, you better find out, what they have. Are you going to just in time? Don't do that. You're going to have to adjust. No more excuses.
Right. Sure. And I think this year is, I think everybody's getting used to what's going on. People are making adjustments, but we're still having some issues, right? We still have COVID is still around. We still have employees that are out, or we're worried about it, or you might live in a state that's got some funky things going on with the governmental leadership, or you might have employees that have COVID or they're out. I've talked to a couple of shop owners right now this past week, and their whole shop has COVID and they're out.
Yep.
They're not even open. Right. And so what's going on with that? Are you're farming the work out? I mean, how are you getting past what's going on? Right. Because at the end of your day, the customers want what they want.
Yep, absolutely.
Right. So there's solutions to things. You just have to do the research to find out what they are. Right. So, hey, why don't you put up Brian's comment?
I wanted the controls. No, I don't want to. Dang you, Brian Bufka. Such an idiot.
No excuses.
Did I tell you about the price increase going on to just one client? I do have that power. So brutal.
That's called, is that the PMO charge, right? Piss me off.
It is that.
Hey, thanks, Brian. Hey, you get a Q&A with Alan and Marshall discount.
Yeah.
You can watch the show for free now.
Absolutely.
From now on.
Oh, too funny.
All right.
But you're absolutely right on that.
Well, what? By the way, what is your excuse for that?
I don't want to
We've
do
only been talking about this for 2 years now.
it. Truthfully, I don't want to do it. I don't want to put the time into it. So that's it right now.
All right. So it's time. So
No.
you're telling me if we could eliminate the time factor,
Nope.
you would do it.
Nope, that's not it. I said, remember, I just don't want to do it.
Oh, now you don't want to do it.
No, that's what I said. I don't want to do it. I just don't want to put the time in to do it. I just don't. Yeah.
Okay.
So I might. Who knows? So yeah.
All right.
What is the excuse that I told Marshall and shouldn't have? Loose lips and ships, and he throws it online. So once it's on the internet, it's never coming off.
Well, it's the easy button to press. I think that's the thing.
I have way too many between fundamentals, screen opener, and the podcast.
Screen opener. Why should people use? I'm a fan of screen opener. I love it.
I think you guys should use it all the time, and then you know what? I will sell you as much easy way.
Why are my screens all locked up? I don't know.
Yeah. Hey, I can help you with Easy Solve 415. It's costless, it's hazardous, and it's extra product. I make as just much profit on that as I do, a press wash. So fine, go ahead, use it all you want. So
that's great. That's great.
Oh, absolutely. So what are the excuses, everybody? What are and
the number one excuse we just talked about it. I don't have time.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't have time to do it. Okay. That's probably everybody's number one excuse.
Right.
Okay. So to me, it's not that you don't have time. It's just that it isn't a priority for you to figure out.
It
right?
is. Yeah.
And so how can we find the time is we can delegate, we can shift priorities, we can do lots of things, right? Well, time, to me, I was just talking about this the other day. Time to me is more valuable than money, right? Because you can always get more money, but you can't get time back, right? So what we can think about doing is how can we do more with the same amount of time, right? We could automate, we could hire more people, we could use a virtual assistant, we could, we could do other things, right? We could stop doing something that's taking our time away, like incessantly posting stupid stuff on Facebook. And then we could allocate more time to things that matter, right? So anyway, so I think that would be my number one excuse that I hear from people is I just don't have time. What do you think your leading excuse?
My leading excuse is always I don't want to do it. I don't want to make the time to do it. I can make the time. I'm just at a point where in life where I don't want to do it on things. And I'm
not talking about you. I'm just talking about it people in general.
Oh, in general, it is always that. I don't have the time. We're too busy. And you know what? I always hear we're not a big shop. That doesn't matter. It does matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're too busy is another one. We're too busy to do that. Okay. Yeah. Oh, are you? Are you too busy? So let's look at what you're busy doing.
Right.
Right. Are these like super incredible, highly profitable jobs? Or are you taking on stuff that you're losing money on? Right? What is your focus? Do you have clarity on the time that you're spending? Right? Have you done a deep dive into that? I think that would be an interesting project if you think that you're too busy.
Yeah. I think it's like the account we were talking about on fundamentals. I can't, if I up my exposure that, I'm not going to have time to get enough screens out. Well, then there's your problem right there. Now you might need to get a better light source, a better something out, because you're just wasting time on the back end all the way through.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a pay me now, pay me later. At least you now know where the bottleneck is. And I said, now you have documentation. You can go to the owner and say, look, we've just spent $1 billion on hybrids, on auto reclaims and this. We really need to buy a better exposure unit because of this.
Right.
And, yeah. So, yeah.
Or you just have another person burning screens and another person doing the other processes in the screen room, so
Yep.
you can keep imaging the screens instead of doing it in chunks of time.
Absolutely. So,
Like there's like one of the things I really like is an autocoder, right? You
yep.
put 1 or 2 frames in, hit the button, and go do something else while it's coding screens.
And this company has it. They got all the toys.
Oh, okay.
They're not doing it.
So what I hate is just people standing there watching the machines work.
Exactly.
Hey, look, it's doing something. Let's watch it.
Oh, maybe they'll do something different. It's only done it 1,000 times the same way. Yeah.
Right.
So it's tough, and that's where, you know what? If they had a production tracking grid, that would work.
You could be measuring. It'd be measuring. Right. So we're nearly out of time. I want to mention that Shirt Lab, we were going to be in one booth, but they have reconfigured the layout of the show floor. So if you haven't been to the expo map lately, that big area in the back, the big round rotunda, and the area where Rock has been, they're not using those at all. For expo this year, it's just a big main room.
Yep.
So where Shirt Lab was going to be is now moved. I mean, Shirt Lab booth is moved. So we're in booth 2017, which is, if you walk in, we're just to the right a little bit, like 1 row back, right? So over on the right. So come see us.
What company are you by?
Huh?
And what company will you be looking at the whole time? You just told me.
Well, there's somebody in front of us. And then the Easy Way booth is just past them, right? So,
right.
So I'm sure I'll be looking at Alex and whoever else is in the booth for Easy Way. So
DJ Bordner will be there.
Yeah. So, but we would love to see you. If you didn't know, we have hired a professional photographer to update social media headshots. So come on by and get a new headshot for LinkedIn or Twitter or whatever you use. Come by and get a free professional headshot done and talk to us at our booth. Also on Friday, I'll be teaching 2 classes. One is with Richard Greaves at 9 o'clock in the morning, which is going to be this show. Come on by, get in the classroom and watch the merriment as we try to figure out the technology. I keep saying that because we've done practice sessions and it didn't work once and it worked the second time. So we'll see if we can get the third time to work. And then, of course, it's all going to be based on our internet connection more than anything, I think. And you know how that goes at a trade show. So we'll see.
It's sketchy. So if you're going to be at the show, make sure you stop by the Shirt Lab booth, stop by the Easy Way booth, say hi to them, talk to them, tell them you listen here, and go to the 9 o'clock one. If you listen to this, go to the 9 o'clock one. If you haven't signed up yet, do that. If you haven't, just go and see Marshall and Richard. I think you can say, I know a guy.
Yeah.
They can probably just get you in. And if you're not going to be there, make sure you still tune in at noon because we're going to be here.
Yeah, right. And GSG has a booth there on ISS Long Beach. So please go see them. Mark, are you still watching? Are you going to be in Long Beach? Would love to find that out.
He is not.
He's not. Okay. Well, there you go.
He's not going to be there, I don't think. So,
yeah. And I also have another class I'm teaching at 1 o'clock on Friday, which is all about print on demand. So that's a new class. So come watch my new slides and me talk. So
absolutely
learn all about my thinking on the print on demand business. So anyway, that's about it. So got any questions or comments? Throw them in while we wrap up. Alan, what are you doing this week or this weekend? What's going on with you?
this weekend I am, well, of course, Sunday will be, I'm back in the saddle. So Sunday night I'll be getting ready for my first business trip of the year. I'll be in Eastern Ohio, and yeah, so that'll be about it. Tomorrow I don't have a whole lot planned. What did I do last week? I put in ceiling fans. Um, Not a whole lot. I'm not
Yeah.
sure. I don't have anything planned. So,
Well, great. So if if you're in Michigan, come on by Alan's house. He's doing nothing.
come on up with this. If you're in Michigan and around the Davison area, I would love for you to come on by. So it would be great.
All right.
So yeah, not a whole lot.
Well, cool.
But I want to thank, of course, Richard Grease for filling in for me at Long Beach. I really appreciate it, Richard. Make sure you guys stop by always and thank our sponsor, Graphic Solutions. There's their website there, www.gogsg.com. And yeah, and Daryl said, Dan, go Niners.
I have to disagree with that statement.
Yeah, he's going to. So thanks for having a good weekend. And everybody be safe. And we'll see you real soon.
All right. See ya.